Yes, good morning. This is the Vanguard Show on podcast, episode number 25, sponsored by the book and photo exhibit From Old Guard to Vanguard, available on Facebook in terms of Facebook pages. And today we have a very special guest, a brother that I have wanted to get on the show for so long, Brother Jeffrey White. He's an author, businessman, health coach, wellness trainer, book expo organizer, who currently lives in Tampa, but is originally from Chicago. And brother, I want to thank you for coming on this morning. It's been a long time coming. How you doing?
I'm good. I want to thank you for having me on, and I want to say thank you for this amazing book. I gotta plug you first.
Well, we're gonna plug each other because this right here, yes, we can.
This is a must-have, everybody. This is a
brother.
must-have book. This is one of my favorite books. So I just want to thank you for all you do.
Thank
you. Are
Likewise.
amazing.
Likewise. This book is amazing as well.
I appreciate that. So when you gave me the opportunity to come on, I had to come on just to show my support. So thank you so much.
Much appreciated on that, man. Well, brother, first of all, as you see, I have the Tampa Bay Black Authors Expo, the first edition.
That's right.
Tell us how you actually organized this along with your co-organizers, how it came about.
Well, Tanisha, she was the spearhead. She came up with the idea and said, we got to get Black authors together. This is something that's just not done very often. It will be a great opportunity for authors of color to get together to come under one roof and share our work with people who will want to read our books and see what we have. And I just thought it was a fantastic idea because we don't get enough credit and attention that we deserve as Black authors. Right. So we took our time and found the venue in Clearwater, and we got it together, and the response was absolutely amazing. Yeah. Not only from the other authors, but from the public. It was a resounding success. And as you know, that was a couple of years ago. We both have on our shirts from the first one.
Oh, no doubt. With the names on the back.
With the names on the back, that's right. And we had to take a hiatus because of COVID, unfortunately.
Right.
We all know COVID just put everything to a standstill. Yeah. But we had it again this past year, and it was another amazing success. Wow. So the desire and demand for Black authors and Black books is still there. It's very strong. And we realized that even COVID couldn't stop people from wanting to get together because we thirst for that knowledge, and we thirst for that entertainment that many Black authors can provide, because that is a void that is simply not being addressed by the mainstream. So my personal thing is, if they're not going to do it, we'll do it ourselves.
That's right.
That's just how I look at it. We can't wait on someone else to help us or do something for us. We can do it ourselves, and we can do it very, very well because we're all very smart. We're all educated. We all have, ambitions and things that we can do. And so we can just go out and do it. And the market and demand is there. So instead of waiting, let's just do it ourselves. And that's how it came up. And like I said, it was a resounding success. All the authors had a fantastic time. And not only that, what I really liked about it was the ability to meet people like you. Yeah. Because if it wasn't for that expo, we wouldn't be here today. Right. And again, I would not have this amazing book.
Okay, and I wouldn't have this amazing book.
And so it's been it helps all of us because I'm sure you understand when we get together, we all just have a good time. We all love the fellowship and socialize, and then we also get down to business. Right. So this was just another excellent opportunity for people of color to get together, and it was just a fantastic event, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it.
Well, my wife and I were extremely happy to meet all of you and see the event and be participants in it. And how I found out about it, or we found out rather, I was one of the authors at the St. Petersburg Times Festival. And then I don't know how, it was a flyer or was word of mouth or some kind of way it got around that there's going to be a Black Authors Expo. And I said, well, I got to check that out, because again, we were kind of new to the Tampa, St. Petersburg area, and to see this expo and to meet so many diverse authors was amazing. Could you maybe go over some of the list of authors that was there?
Oh, off the top of my head, I can't remember their
Oh,
names.
okay. Yeah, it was so many. Yeah.
But we had history,
Right.
authors who had history. We had authors who did children's books. We had authors who did anime, Comic-Con, action books. We had every genre. We had romance. We had every genre of book that you could think of that we had up there. And so I would say names, but then I would leave some people out.
Okay,
and that's the last thing I want to do. But we had every genre of author that you could think of.
Wow.
Was a Black author who was at the event. So next year when we do this again, actually in 2022, I think everyone should come out and check it out, because you will find something that you like. I can pretty much guarantee it.
Okay. And you originally from Chicago. And again, Chicago in and of itself is the quote unquote second city, but it's a powerful city. A lot of talented people come from there. Tell us about, your time growing up in Chicago and what brought you eventually down to Tampa.
Well, I love Chicago. I still call myself a Chicagoan, but I could never live back there.
Oh, okay.
It's cold. I lived there for the first 25 years of my life, and I really enjoyed it. The vibe of the city, the people, everything about it, I had a really good time. Unfortunately, there are some parts of Chicago that get attention in the media that we would really like to be without. And so that was one of my reasons for leaving. But another reason I left is because I wanted to try something new. I was ready to try a new challenge and adventure in my life, which led me to move to Florida. And I really got tired of cold weather.
Okay.
I love warm weather and I like beaches. So I'm like, why don't I just try this?
Okay.
And my thinking was, if you don't like it, just go back home.
Right.
You have to try. You have to, go for something. And if it doesn't work out, it's okay. Just go back home. But overall, I really love Chicago. There are a lot of positive people in Chicago. And what I saw that really got my attention, especially after I moved away from Chicago, was how so many people are business oriented. Right. And about trying to do different things. There are a lot of Black-owned businesses in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny because when you live in a certain area your whole life, you kind of take it for granted. Right. And when I left, I realized that Chicago was really progressive. There are a lot of ambitious go-getters in Chicago. Right. And you don't really hear that much about Chicago in the news. You only hear the negative. Right. But the negative is only in certain areas. It's not the entire city. Okay. And that's unfortunate with media. They only focus on the bad, but they don't really talk about the good. So there was a lot of really good, positive people in Chicago. And of course, I still talk to a lot of people from Chicago. I went to college in Illinois State University, and I still talk to a lot of my friends from Illinois State and from my childhood friends in Chicago. So I love the city. I personally just couldn't go back and live there. Right. Because I'm happy where I am now. But at the end of the day, I could never just say something, just totally bad about Chicago. It has its good and its bad. And I always love it. But it was time for me to move on and try something new.
Okay. Well, I have some people there in Chicago that live there, and I would go back and forth, especially going to visit the Hamptons, with Koo and Jerry. And of course, we worked on a campaign with Fred Hampton Jr. Right. So I was back and forth to Chicago. One of the things people don't know about Chicago outside of Chicago is that it was founded by a Black man, Jean Point Baptiste de Sable. Right?
Sable. And he has a beautiful museum too, by the way.
Yeah, which I've been to. And I went to the bust. Yes. At the Pioneer Court, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, see, that's another good thing about Chicago. There's a lot of rich cultural history there. And again, it's not discussed in mainstream media that people would not know. There's a huge history and a lot of Black history in Chicago, and a lot of people take pride in that history as well. So it's a rich, very rich and diverse city. And it's really good for people who are really trying to come up with ambition too.
Okay. And speaking of Chicago, there's so many writers that came out of Chicago, and you fit that whole genre in terms of just being a very prominent writer, someone I definitely respect. I think it's James Baldwin who once said that. He said, read, 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 and when you can no longer read, write. When did you get your ambition to be a writer?
Oh boy, that is so funny. It happened just kind of a roundabout way. And I want to thank my mother first off.
Okay.
My mother was a school teacher. And I probably shouldn't say this, but when I was younger, I'd have to grade her spelling papers for her. She would make me do her.
Oh, okay.
Her work. So I would have to grade some of her papers. She taught fourth grade. And so she would have me do some of her work because she had so much that she had to do. And I hated doing it when I was younger, but then I was like, I just had to do it. So it kind of got me into spelling and just grading papers and things like that. So I always had a knack for writing, but I didn't take it seriously until I was a financial advisor. I used to be a stockbroker many years ago, right around the late 90s, early 2000s. And I wanted to stand out from other advisors. So I created my very first newsletter called The Game Plan. And in that newsletter, I just talked about financial tips and just gave little lessons on the stock market, because a lot of my clients were new to the market. And I was trying to explain it to them in a way they can understand. So that's when I really got started writing. But then you fast forward several years, and I had decided to leave the brokerage industry. And I had became a personal trainer and wellness coach. And so then my background of trying to teach people came back into play. And so I started writing health topics and health blogs, trying to get people to understand how important your health is, because we take our health for granted until we're sick. But the key with being healthy is to be proactive and try to decrease the severity of sickness and illness. And you do that by taking care of yourself. So that was my premise of writing my health blog. So I started writing that way too. And then I got to the point where I was still working in corporate America at that time, because I was just part-time personal trainer and everything. And I decided I needed to step out and do my own thing. And I figured the best way to springboard myself into doing my own thing was to write a book. And so my first book was The 3 Pillars of Strength, Increasing Your Physical, Mental, and Spiritual Fitness. I felt very comfortable writing because I had done so much writing on blogs and newsletters and things like that. So I was like, you know what, this is going to launch me into being an entrepreneur and self-employed. And so it was a long time coming. I didn't just wake up one day and say, oh, I'm going to be a writer. It was a kind of a gradual thing that I kind of worked into. And I haven't looked back since. And I love to write. I write, I would say almost full time now. I'm a ghost writer while I write for other people. But my name isn't on the article. So now you can go online and read something and it could be something I wrote.
Okay,
but
wow.
we'll never know.
Oh, okay.
I won't tell.
Right. Okay.
Won't tell.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a long process to get where I am now, but it was a gradual process.
Right.
So well, I've been writing.
Yeah. Oh, I was just about to say, I love the way you mix the business with the health, because I see you give recommendations all the time. Of course, I follow you on all your social medias. Yeah. And you're just always promoting not only a healthy body, but healthy mindset. Is that correct?
Absolutely, because they all go hand in hand. And thanks to my background in finance and in wellness and health, I realized that it's like a puzzle and they all connect. Because when I was a financial advisor, that's a very stressful job. Right. And to relieve stress, some people would they would drink a lot of caffeine, or they would even, take illegal substances, unfortunately, to get that stress off of them. Right. What I would do is I would go run. We used to work from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. Wow. And after the market, cold calling, smile and dial. This is before the internet. We had to cold call people and get hung up on and pick up the phone and dial again. So we worked from 8 in the morning until 4 o'clock, the market closed. From 4 to 5, that was my time to decompress. So I would go run and get my energy back up to work again from 5 to 8. So I realized that you got to work on your health, because if your health is shot, you can't function in this business, and it's going to just hurt you in the long run.
That's so important.
So that's when I realized about the health part. But then when I became a personal trainer and wellness coach, that's when it all clicked. And then I realized that, you got to have a positive attitude. You got to make sure you're eating healthy and have those positive outlets. So for a lot of people, they could be stressed. They're stressed about money, but they have to learn how to make different ways of making passive income and how to, make more money instead of just working crazy. And at the same time, they have to find ways to maintain their health by eating healthy foods.
Right.
Because to be honest with you, if you are under a lot of stress and you start eating junk food to feel better, you might feel better temporarily, but long term, you're increasing your risk of high blood pressure, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, but you don't realize why. So you got to get back to the source of what's making you sick and how to maintain good health. So it all goes hand in hand, but people don't look at it that way.
Okay. Is that what was your motivation for the Jeff White Fitness Solutions LLC? And was that the motivation? And how can people learn more about that?
Yes. Yeah. The fitness solutions. When people think of fitness, they think of physical fitness, working out and, exercise. That's just one aspect of fitness. You also have the mental fitness, spiritual fitness, and financial fitness. So you got 4 aspects of fitness. And if one of them is out of whack, it's going to throw the others out of whack too. So for example, if you're not mentally tough, how can you be the best you can be at your job if you don't believe you can excel? Right. So you got to build up that mental fitness. If you're not spiritually fit, then that means you're going to do some things that you probably shouldn't do to get ahead. And at the end of the day, you could be one tweet or one social media message away from losing everything.
Yes.
And that could be stressful too. Right. I want to be able to go to sleep at night knowing I didn't hurt people to get ahead. That's that spirituality, that spiritual fitness. Right. And of course, we all know about the financial fitness, especially what was going on now. You want to be able to make money and survive. So you have to have all of these going at the same time, which is why I call it financial fitness, which is why when you see my page, like on Facebook, Jeff White Fitness Solutions, you'll see topics on positive thinking. You see a financial tip. These are all aspects of fitness, but our society has us do everything separate. You got physical fitness here, you got mental fitness here, you got spirituality over here, but no one ever brings them together.
Right.
But we have to bring them all together and work them all at the same time to be the best we can be.
Wow. And one thing I love is to see when you and your son are by the lake, because you always are doing something with the children, and there's this one lake, and every night I see an alligator out there. So how important it is to involve your kids in your fitness projects and well-being rather.
Well, it comes. My thing is, when I look back over my life, I had people in Chicago who taught me how to survive. And when I say survive, I'm talking about how to survive. Right. Because again, there's some tough areas in Chicago, and you got to know how to deal with it, how to get around certain people, how to be around certain people so you don't look like you're scared. Because if you look like you're scared, they're gonna mess with you. So you gotta look like you know how to, handle yourself.
Right.
That's one aspect of survival, but I didn't have anyone who taught me how to do business. Right. I had to learn it on my own. I didn't have anyone who really taught me the health things that I know now. So I look at my son, I'm like, okay, what do I want to teach him that I wish I would have known when I was his age? Right. I know. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I just incorporated make it fun. We go out and ride our bikes to get our vitamin D. We go out and just see the world. And, what you saw like on Facebook and things, the Duck Chronicles.
Right.
We feed the ducks. We fed the ducks every day for about, 5 months. They were like little ducklings until they were big, wow. Little stuff like that.
And that's so peaceful, right? It's such a peaceful thing. Right. Yeah.
So stress reliever. Right. So I wanted to just expose him to different things that could help him as he grows up. Okay. In a fun way. I even started teaching him about, entrepreneurship. He's going to start his business real soon. Okay. And even things like, precious metals and gold and silver. He knows all about that stuff. So I'm just trying to teach him different things that I wish I would have known when I was his age. Because if I did, no telling where I'd be.
Right. Well, that kind of segues also into the educational component, because you have the Yes We Can, Yes We Did Virtual Learning Center. Could you tell people about that?
Yes. It goes back to my mother being a school teacher and my son. Our teachers, they do the best they can with what they have. I know that I've seen a lot of people criticize the school system, and some of it is warranted, but our teachers, I would say they're handcuffed as to what they can and cannot do. And so there are a lot of subjects that should be taught in school that are not taught in school. Some of it may be by design, that we can leave that up to debate, but there are some topics that are just not taught in school that our people need to know. Right. So then it comes back to when I was a kid. What would I like to know if I was younger that I really would appreciate now? Oh, Black History #1. There's more to us than Dr. King and Rosa Parks. Right. Let's start right there. Right. Another thing, entrepreneurship. How many people would be in a lot better position if they knew they could start a business? Right. Not necessarily go do it, but they knew they had the ability and the tools to start a business, even a side business. Because if you got multiple streams of income, that one job can't just run your whole life. Right. That one job can't tell you to do something you may not want to do, or force you to do something you don't want to do, if you have multiple streams of income coming around. Right. If I got 5 sources of income right now, and my one job tells me you got to do this, this, and this, I'm like, okay, let me think about it. And if I don't want to do it, I'm out. Right. But a lot of people don't have that. They only have that one job, so they're stuck. And so I'm thinking, okay, Black history, entrepreneurship, healthy living tips, and positivity, positive thinking. Those are things that are really not taught in school like they should be. That would be something excellent I could do with this virtual learning center.
Okay. Who are some of your influences growing up? Because for myself, Malcolm X, Paul Robeson, people like that really influenced me. And of course, members of the party as well. Who influenced you coming up?
Man, I'm going to tell you, and I told you this, I think I told you about 2 weeks ago on social media. I said one of my all-time favorite books is Seize the Time.
Yes.
With Huey Newton and Bobby Seale. Yeah. That book just blew my mind, because I'm like, wait a minute, these dudes out here, because all you see is the guns and the black coats and the berets. Right. But you don't realize they out here trying to help the people. Yeah. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yes.
I didn't know all this. They didn't tell me this. They just told me they were bad. They out here trying to feed the kids.
That's right. That's right.
That blew my mind to see that book. That's one of my all-time favorite books. Autobiography of Malcolm X is just a classic. But one that really got me thinking was Bad Blood, the Tuskegee experiment. Yes. That book messed my head up, and it made me really mad, and it made me change my whole philosophy on life and the establishment. I won't go any further on that unless people read the book and they'll see for themselves. That made me really think, okay, I got to start learning how to take care of myself in more ways than one, because some people may not have my best interest at heart. Right. But my number one influence is my mother. She was because she worked so hard, and she's a single mother. It was just me and her, and I saw how hard she worked. When I was coming up, so I just had a lot of respect for that work ethic, and she just never gave up. So that was my number one influence, definitely my mother.
Okay. And in terms of, are you involved in, because I've seen some of your seminars could you talk about some of your business seminars? Because I see with multiple guests and things like that. So tell people about that and how they can participate.
Oh, yeah. What you saw on social media was a group that I'm involved with called Conversations with Entrepreneurs. And we haven't done anything this year yet, but we're going to start kicking back up, where it's 5 entrepreneurs, and we all just sit around and talk about various topics dealing with current events and how it ties into how it affects entrepreneurs of color. And it's hosted by Alethea Brown, and it's one of the highlights of my week, actually, because we do that weekly, and it's just a great way for us to just talk as entrepreneurs who are all in different industries. And it's just a fantastic opportunity for us to talk and just share our ideas, because that's something, again, that isn't shown enough of entrepreneurs of color talking about just life and how it affects us as an entrepreneur. And we also have different guests on and things of that nature. So it's called Conversations with Entrepreneurs. It is on Facebook, iTunes, Instagram, LinkedIn, and things of that nature. Conversations with Entrepreneurs.
Okay. And could you go over some of the titles of your books so that people get, I mean, because again, I was blown away, especially by this book right here. I mean, excellent, historical accounts, very inspirational. How can people get some of your book titles?
All my books are on Amazon. And you can also go to my website, www.yeswedidllc.com. And I have 11 books total. I have books on entrepreneurship for kids. It's called Planting Seeds, The Children's Guide to Entrepreneurship. The first book I ever wrote, The 3 Pillars of Strength, Increasing your physical, mental, and spiritual fitness that I discussed. And I'll just show just one book real quick.
Okay.
This is one of my favorites. This is a real popular book among kids and teachers, actually, because it really highlights some things about Black business and Black history people don't know. Like I put pictures of like patents in here and things of that nature. And I also have, little make it fun for kids. Like I have puzzles and things of that nature too.
Oh, yes. Wow, right on.
So I have 11 books total. And I have books on success, how to be successful. I have books on investing because I was a financial advisor. And the irony of that is I couldn't really talk about finance and investing while I was a licensed broker, because you can get in trouble saying certain things that you shouldn't say.
Right. Definitely.
So then I was able to talk more freely about it and different investment strategies once I left the industry. So I have books on investing, multiple streams of income, entrepreneurship for kids, healthy living tips, which I really enjoy that one because that's something that we all can use, especially today with the pandemic. Right. I want to say on a side note with that, I find it very interesting that they don't really talk about things you can do to strengthen your immune system. It's all about getting a vaccine. Right. If you want to get the vaccine, that's perfectly fine with me, but don't rely on that. You have to learn how to take care of your body because that's your first line of defense against illness and disease. Yes. And so I think that's a very important topic that people really need to focus on too.
Okay. And for everything you're involved in, how has Tampa been in terms of, say, business, fitness? Obviously, the weather's great, but for all the things you're involved in, compared to, say, if you went to Miami or even Atlanta, Tampa's always, there's not much that we know about Tampa outside of the fact that there's some great cigars and great football teams.
That's true. Go Bucks. That's right.
And we were at a football game with you and your son didn't even know that.
We were at the same, man. We saw each other. That would have been so cool.
Wow. Oh, he would next time. I probably
been awesome. To be honest with you, Tampa is a slower paced city than Chicago and Miami. Right. And I purposely chose that because I was ready to slow down a bit. Growing up in Chicago was very fast paced and hectic. And I wanted to have a family. So I wanted to live in a city that wasn't so fast. Okay. So it's perfect for me because it allows me to kind of slow down mentally. Because see, I do a lot of things online now. So I can be fast online per se. But when I shut off my computer, I can just go relax. Right. I can go feed ducks.
Right. Okay. Look at the alligators around the fence.
Yeah, I have an alligator like 20 feet from my patio that I can look at every day, literally. Wow. A little 5-foot gator. You just get used to it down here. Okay. But Tampa's good for me. There are a lot of positive people here in Tampa as well. So I found the perfect mix of being busy, thanks to the internet, of course, and being able to relax and slow down at the same time.
Okay. Because I just want to tell you that my wife and I will be making a move to that area, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, I guess within the next couple of years, if not a year. So what would be some of the advice you would give in terms of relocating to the Tampa area?
Have a car, for one.
Okay, all right.
You got to have a car.
Okay.
Have air conditioning.
Okay.
Air conditioning,
Okay.
and be ready for a slower pace.
Okay.
If you're coming from a bigger city, be ready for just a slower pace. It's not as hectic and fast paced as some of the other cities out there. Um, and just be ready to you can relax and still have your fun at the same time.
Okay.
So it's a different mindset. You have to slow down a bit in Tampa, but that could not be a bad thing depending on where you are in your life too. Right. And I'll be honest with you, I don't really worry about getting into any scuffles or anything like that down here because it's pretty laid back compared to where I'm from.
Okay. All right. And I just want to tell you, it was 26 degrees here in Atlanta this morning. I want to ask, what's the temperature there right now?
Oh, it was cold last night. It had
what is cold? What is cold?
For Tampa, it might have been around 50 degrees last night, 45, 50.
Oh, wow. Frigid.
Yeah. So that's why I say I'm being facetious because I know cold.
Yeah.
But it felt good actually.
Okay.
It's
all
refreshing for me when it's cooler out. I just can't live in it anymore.
Oh, okay.
If it goes below 40, I have trouble.
Okay.
As far as my attitude, I don't like it.
Right.
But the thing about Florida weather, it can be cool one day and the next day is back to 70 degrees.
Right. That's true. That's so true. Yeah. And of course, I don't know if you know that I was native born in Florida. I'm originally from Miami.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I used to live in Opelika as a kid. And
I did know that.
Yeah. So I definitely look forward to relocating back to Florida, particularly the Tampa, St. Petersburg area. And I'll be following up with you on some areas of interest.
Excellent. That sounds good.
Yeah. Well, tell me about some of your future plans and some of the events, things you have going on in the future that people can learn about.
Well, right now, I am focused on, I also have online learning that I'm doing, virtual courses. I have 7 online courses over on Udemy right now that I am in the process of promoting. Because with COVID, I learned that you have to pivot. You have to pivot your business because the world has changed. And it still hasn't gone all the way back. Right. So when I saw that so many people were home and they needed something to do, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start creating some online courses that people can take right from the comfort of their own home instead of me having to go out and do different seminars and things of that nature. Some people don't like to read, as you all know. So what can I do? Online courses. So I created 7 online courses, and that's something that I'm really promoting right now. And of course, they're all based on my books: entrepreneurship, multiple streams of income, healthy living tips, business ideas for kids. So that's something that I really am pushing right now. Also, I'm working with my son because he wants to make his own money now. Okay. He's 9 years old. He's like, Dad, I want to start making more money. So I literally made him read my book, Planting Seeds, Children's Guide to Entrepreneurship. Okay. Made him read it and say, okay, read it and tell me what you think. So he wants to start a seashell business. Okay, all right. So we have gone out to Clearwater Beach and we've collected seashells and we got videos and we're on the process of making his business, and we're going to start selling them online on eBay and things of that nature. And he's going to keep most of the profits. Okay, all right. He got overhead, he got employees. Okay. So those are my main things right now, but because of COVID, I just had to pivot, and I started shifting a lot of my things online because I don't know what's going to happen with this. All these strains and variants, and some people are hesitant to go out. Some people are okay with it. So I figured I could meet them halfway and still go out a bit and still do my own thing. And the last event I was at the Tampa, Black Authors Expo, which was, late last year, but I haven't done any more events since then, just because, of what's going on in the world. So I've just shifted a lot of my things to online, but I do want to get back out and meet people face to face, because I love that interaction of meeting people and talking to people and shaking hands. I miss that.
Oh yes. Well, it was great seeing you when we did, and unfortunately, it's been a nice little time lapse since we've met face to face. But I'm so impressed with you, brother. So proud of you. You're one of our talented ones. And how can people follow you on social media and reach out to you to make contact?
Well, I am on LinkedIn, the Jeffrey White. I am on Facebook. I have 3 pages on Facebook, actually. I have the Jeff White Fitness Solutions page. I have the Yes We Did Virtual Learning Center page. I have my personal page, Jeffrey White. And I'm also on Twitter, Jeff White, JW Fitness, also on Twitter and Instagram as well. Jeff White Fitness on Instagram also.
Okay. Well, brother, it's been a great episode. Look forward to having you back real soon, and look forward to a face-to-face very soon. And again, blessing to you, your family. And again, thank you for being the guest, and special guest on the 25th episode of the podcast.
I love it. Thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure. And again, I just have so much respect for you also. If people don't follow you, they need to, because I love your posts. I don't know if you noticed, I will like your posts.
Oh, yes, yes. And likewise.
Because I'm like, how is he getting all this information? You are just amazing. And I salute you for all the hard work that you've done and your life.
Thank you.
Because you have quite the story yourself. So I have a lot of respect for you for what you've done to help our people, especially, all the things you've done. I love it. And I just have the utmost respect for you as well.
Well, thank you, brother. Like Malcolm X said, I'm a part of all I've met. And I met another powerful one in Jeffrey White. So again, brother, thank you so much. And I'll definitely be talking to you soon, brother.
All right. Thank you so much.
You take care, brother.
Talking. All right.
Yes, take care, brother. Appreciate you.